Okay guys, so we're getting close to the end of the unit. This is lesson 11.9 honors. This is interior and exterior angles of triangles, okay? Now, the essential question is, how are the interior angles of a triangle related to angle pair relationships? Now, the biggest thing they're talking about when they say that is all triangles are 180 degrees. That is something we need to remember with all these. In other words, angle 1, 2, and 3 of a triangle are always going to equal 180 degrees. All three angles will equal 180 degrees, okay? What we have to do is every time we do one of these types of problems, we have to take everything we already know and be able to apply it to this situation. Some of us think a little differently. There's a few different ways to do these type of problems. I'm going to show you how I do it. If you figure out another way and you still get the answer correct, awesome, okay? So here's what we're looking at. First, remote interior angles are the two angles opposite of one, okay? So they're your interior angles. All three of these are actually interior angles. An exterior angle is one that is outside. So 4 is outside of 1. The reason we need exterior angles is if we don't know what the measurement of an angle is, remember, 1 and 4, because they form a straight line, would be supplementary angles. In other words, these two together would equal 180 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to take what we know and find out what angle 4 is. What they tell us here is that we know angle 2 is 68 degrees and angle 3 is 42 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two and I'm going to add them together. In other words, 68 plus 42 is going to equal, let's see, 110 degrees. Okay, so 110 degrees. Then what we can do is, knowing that all triangles are 180 degrees, we're going to know because of this that angle 1 is going to equal, in other words, we would take the 180 degrees we know every single triangle is, subtract the 110 from it, which would equal 70 degrees. So angle 1 equals 70 degrees. But we need to find angle 4. This is 70 degrees. Guess what? They are supplementary angles. In other words, angle 4 plus angle 1 should equal 180 degrees. We know that angle 1, so I'm going to put X for angle 4. We know that angle 1 now is 70 degrees, and it should equal 180 degrees. Let's use a little bit of algebra here to isolate the variable and balance the equation. In other words, I want X by itself. I'm going to get 70 over to the other side of the equation. We keep this equal. So in other words, I need to subtract 70. But because I'm subtracting 70 from this side of the equation, I need to also subtract it from the other side of the equation so they stay equal. This is gone. X is by itself. We find out that angle 4 equals 110 degrees. That's our answer, okay? Now switch that X back to, so you guys see what I'm talking about, angle 4, okay? So, notice the relationship here though, okay guys? In other words, we found out that angle 2 and 3, the remote interior angles, are actually equal to angle 4. And you're going to want to notice that relationship because we're going to use it in the next problem. Okay guys? Now remember, if there's anything of this that you don't understand, look at the examples that I've also gone through and put into your Savvis account. All right, so let's look at the next problem. Okay, so here we go. Oop. That looks a little bright, huh? Oh, no, I guess we're okay. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. This is example 3. They want us to find angle 1 right here, okay, guys? And we know that angle 2 is 8x plus 8, angle 3 is 7x minus 1, and then angle 4 is 16x. Now remember what I said. These are the remote interior angles, and they should equal angle 4. This is how we set up this problem. In other words, 8x plus 8, okay, that's one of them, plus 7x minus 1 should equal 16x. You can see this problem is going to take us a while, okay? So what I do is I separate the terms, and then I'm going to combine like terms. I've got a positive 8x plus a positive 7x, which is 15x. I've got a positive 8 and a negative 1, which is plus 7, and that equals 16x. Okay? Now, what I have to do is get all the x's on one side, right? And what we do is we're going to subtract 15x here. That means I have to subtract 15x here. This looks a little bit different, right? Because usually we're isolating the variable. Well, we're doing that anyway by getting all the x's on one side. This is gone. We find out that 7 equals x. Okay, so x equals 7. Okay, so now I look at this and I go, okay, these two are supplementary angles. In other words, they equal 180 degrees. We just found out that 16x is 4, right? That's what it is, angle 4, and that x equals 7. So in other words, to find angle 4, I'm going to do 16 multiplied by 7 because x equals 7. We find out that that is, angle 4 is going to equal 112 degrees. Okay, so 112 degrees. Now that we know that, then we can go through, because we know, so I'm going to draw a line under this, angle 4 plus angle 1 equals 180 degrees because they're supplementary. We know angle 4 is 112 degrees plus angle 1 equals 180 degrees. I'm going to isolate, this time I'm going to use angle 1 as our variable, right? So I'm going to isolate that. I'm going to subtract 112. That means I'm going to subtract 112 here also. This is gone. We find out that angle 1 equals 68 degrees. And that's our answer. That's what they were looking for there. Okay, guys, so there's a lot of steps here. And like I said, we have to take what we already know, like the fact that a triangle is always going to equal 180 degrees, that if I have two angles that form a straight line, that's a supplementary angles. Those are 180 degrees also. And we need to use that to our advantage as we're going through and doing it. Remember, I talked about all the way through the year, especially at the beginning of the year, where I said this is all about problem solving. We have to evaluate the problem and then solve. You're going to have to do that big time in this, okay? So let me know if you have any problems. Make sure that you're getting and taking your time going through the XLs, and we'll talk to you soon.